Murder's the easy part. Covering it up, not so much. Welcome to Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski.
20 stab wounds. That's the number etched into the tragic story of Ellen Greenberg, a 27-year-old teacher whose life ended abruptly in her Philadelphia apartment in 2011. The case took a shocking turn when it was ruled a suicide, despite what many, including her own family, argued were glaring signs of foul play. Now, in an announcement that has left the public reeling, the Chester County District Attorney's Office declared that they are unable to move forward with criminal charges. The decision, delivered with the sterile precision of a legal formality, has done little to quell the firestorm of questions surrounding Ellen's death. For years, her family has been fighting against what they see as a gross miscarriage of justice. A suicide? With 20 stab wounds, some allegedly post-mortem? The numbers defy logic, and the circumstances have fueled speculation that goes beyond the usual courtroom drama. If nothing else, it forces us to ask, what happens when the pursuit of justice collides with the limitations of the law? The Greenberg case has long been a puzzle, a perfect storm of conflicting forensic opinions, institutional red tape, and a narrative that seems too implausible to accept. Ellen was discovered slumped against her kitchen cabinets, a knife still lodged in her chest. The scene at first glance suggested a violent end, but at whose hand? The initial homicide ruling seemed to confirm the worst, only to be inexplicably overturned by the medical examiner's office. Suicide, they said. Case closed, or so they thought. But this was far from over. Ellen's parents, Josh and Sandra Greenberg, couldn't reconcile the coroner's conclusion with the grisly facts. They sought answers, turning to private forensic experts and legal avenues to challenge the ruling. What they uncovered added layers to an already complex case. There were bruises on Ellen's body, inconsistent timelines, and those 20 stab wounds, some showing signs of hesitation, others suggesting forceful penetration. How could anyone self-inflict such injuries, let alone in the throes of ending their own life? The DA's recent statement emphasized a lack of evidence to meet the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. It was a stark reminder of the high bar set for criminal prosecutions, yet the announcement felt more like a wall than a threshold, a barrier erected against the family's quest for accountability. The case is now inactive, though not closed, leaving an open wound for those seeking answers. What's more, the timing of this decision raises eyebrows. Just as newly elected Attorney General Dave Sunday steps into office, the Greenberg case takes another dramatic twist. Could this be a coincidence? Or does it hint at something deeper, a reluctance to engage in a battle that might expose institutional flaws? The questions linger, as does the shadow cast over the justice system. The Greenberg family's legal team isn't backing down. Their latest move, a direct appeal to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court demanding a re-examination of Ellen's death certificate. The court's agreement to hear the case is monumental, signaling that the battle isn't over yet. But what does this mean for the DA's office, which has now washed its hands of the matter? More importantly, what could this development reveal about the systemic issues plaguing death investigations? In a case as polarizing as this, the forensic evidence becomes both a weapon and a shield. Independent experts have challenged the suicide ruling, pointing to anomalies that demand further scrutiny. They highlight injuries inconsistent with self-infliction and question the methodology of the original autopsy. Yet, without new DNA evidence or a confession, the case remains a frustrating tangle of facts and speculation. The Greenbergs aren't just fighting for Ellen. They're fighting against a system they believe failed her. Their persistence has turned this case into a flashpoint for broader discussions about forensic accountability and the limitations of the justice system. As the Supreme Court prepares to weigh in, the stakes couldn't be higher. A ruling in their favor could force the hand of local authorities, compelling them to reopen the investigation. It would also set a precedent, offering hope to other families navigating similar battles. The DA's office may have shelved the case, but Ellen Greenberg's story is far from over. Each new revelation pulls us deeper into a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Who, if anyone, is responsible for her death? And if justice remains elusive, what does that say about the system meant to deliver it? This is where we're at. A case that screams for clarity, for justice, yet somehow continues to stall in a fog of bureaucratic inertia and conflicting narratives. 20 stab wounds, folks. 20. And the official line? Suicide. I don't know about you, but I'd struggle to reconcile that without a whole lot of coffee and a whiteboard covered in question marks. Here's what's not sitting right with me. The DA's office says they can't proceed because the evidence doesn't meet the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. Fair enough. That's the legal threshold. But this isn't some minor infraction. We're talking about a woman who, according to multiple forensic experts, could not have inflicted many of those wounds on herself. So, if not Ellen, who? And why does it feel like the system is bending over backward to avoid answering that question? There's also this eerie sense of timing. Just as Pennsylvania swears in a new attorney general, we get this announcement that the case is going inactive. Now, I'm not suggesting a grand conspiracy, but the optics aren't great, are they? It's like watching a magician's sleight of hand. You know something's happening, but you can't quite figure out how. And then there's the toll on the family. Imagine being told that your daughter's brutal death was self-inflicted, despite every shred of logic screaming otherwise. The Greenbergs have been through the ringer, legal battles, public scrutiny, the whole 9 yards. And yet they persist. Why? Because they know something's wrong. And that persistence, that unyielding drive for the truth is a testament to the human spirit's refusal to accept a lie. Where do we go from here? The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has a chance to step in, to correct the record, and maybe, just maybe, force the system to take a hard look at itself. But until that happens, we're left with more questions than answers. And in a case like this, those unanswered questions are a haunting reminder of how easily the pursuit of justice can get derailed. That's all for now. We'll keep digging and getting you the facts. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to press subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface,
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
where hidden killers roam unnoticed in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Brueski as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski.